Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. And today I'm going to be ranking the miraculous holders of Miraculous Ladybug. It is something that I said in the last episode we watched when we watched Wishmaker. I said that I did have a tier list coming up that I was going to do, and this is the one that I decided to go with. I was going to rank the characters, but I figured I'd have more fun with ranking the holders, especially because I get asked a lot, especially on TikTok, about my opinions on the miraculous holders in terms of like usefulness and things like that, and I thought this tier list is a surefire way to do that. I'm going to be ranking them based on their personality while holding the miraculous, their usefulness, and obviously their other counterparts. So like, you know, Marinette and Ladybug. Marinette would play a part in my judging of Ladybug. Adrian would play a part in my judging of Cat Noir. You know, things of that nature. But I am really excited to do this, especially given the fact that, again, people ask my opinions on majority of them, and I don't really get to answer based on all of them because I usually skip a few that I don't really get asked about, because the most ones that I get asked about a lot are obviously Ladybug and Cat Noir. I get asked on Ryuko a lot, and I get asked about Monkey King, which, a personal favorite of mine. I promise my thing about him will not be biased, though. But I am excited to do this, but as per usual, if you are not already following me, I don't know what you're doing, and if you would like to see me live and unfiltered, please feel free to watch me on Twitch. I stream 4 times a week. That is Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and I do have a new schedule for that, by the way, which also can be found on my Twitch channel. But all that and all my other social media links can be found down in the description below. But without further ado, let's get into this video. Alright, as you can see, we have all of the miraculous holders laid out here. The ones who I will not obviously be paying too much attention to, which I'm just going to go ahead and put them at the bottom now, but like at the bottom with like the list to not really talk about, but more so like not really get into details because we don't know much about them. So obviously, the girl from the New York special, I'm going to put her down here, and Master Fu. Now, it's not that I don't know much about Master Fu, obviously we do, but he used his miraculous, I think twice. Or maybe it was just the one time, because I know the one time he did try to do it, he tried to and kind of like threw his back out. But those we're not going to pay attention to. Let's go ahead and throw the fusions down below. Honestly, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to be starting off with Aspic. Aspic, I think that's how you pronounce it. But whatever the case may be, I am going to put him in the worst in terms of personality and usefulness. Obviously, Adrian only took the snake miraculous from Ladybug. Well, not really took it. He accepted it from Ladybug because he wanted to impress her. And what is it he did in an episode? He went back in time a total of what? I don't even remember how many times he said, but if I'm not mistaken, he said it took him about a couple months. Like, he's been going back in time for a couple months now, and nothing worked. And obviously, he just did it because he was a simp. So that is exactly why I put him in the worst. Now, as for Bunnix, we don't really see Bunnix often. I think we've seen her, a total of 3 times at least. Yeah, I think we've seen her like, no, 2. We saw her the first time we met her and the second time in Cat Blanc. And if I am messing that up, please just let me know. I want to put her in good. Toddling between very good and good, because like her power in terms of usefulness, her power is amazing. She comes, like, she's a person who comes when needed, so she'll show up if something obviously is out of place, which we saw in Cat Blanc. Obviously she came back in time with like, oh girl, I don't know what you did, but everything is messed up in the future, you need to come and fix it. So in terms of things like that, she's good. Obviously the show's been going on track because we haven't seen her. Would love to see her though, because you know, I miss her as much as I miss Natalie, and we only got to see Natalie in Optigami, which is pretty disheartening, especially because Natalie came up with that boss ass plan, but we get more into that later. But good, I'm putting her in good in terms of usefulness. Her personality is at a 10. Like, I love her personality. Obviously she talks too fast, but it kind of matches given how Fluff is, because Fluff also talks fast as hell. Now, next up we'll have Carapace. Now for Carapace, there hasn't been very many instances where they've actually needed him. Like, for example, what's the episode that Lady B was in? It was Optigami. In Optigami, even though that wasn't really Nino, it was Sentinino. I feel as if I don't think that they needed him for that specifically. Like they use his power very specifically rather than actually protect them from things. I'm trying to figure out how to explain this without sounding confusing. Like when they first used him, they only needed him to protect them from the falling debris. That was situational. With Mega Leech, they contained all of the Amuks and Akumas inside the shelter. Again, situational. I feel as if Kagami could have held them all together in there even without his help, but I guess, she had Nino trap her and the Akumas and Amuks in there so that way she can just get it done one fell swoop. But like, yeah, so I'm gonna put him under not that good but not that bad. Now Cat Noir. I have gone back and forth with a lot of people on TikTok because in terms of personalities, I love Cat Noir's personality. I love his personality way more than I love Adrian's personality, and I wish he acted like Cat Noir more because I really don't feel like having him be a menace to society with his flirtatious ways while he's Adrian, because it's just, that would be a mess. But in terms of like usefulness with his powers, I don't think his power is that useful compared to others. Because people would always go back and forth with me saying how, they need his power to break stuff, this, that, and the third. And in my head, I'm like, well, yes and no, because we've seen Ladybug and other heroes break things with their hands that you normally wouldn't think they'd be able to break. Like, we've seen Ladybug break a helmet over her fist and legs. Like, we've seen them break things left and right that normally they would need Cat Noir for, but doesn't. And even Cat Noir noticed, obviously in Wishmaker, he said with Ladybug giving out all these Miraculous, she's not really going to need me anymore. And I don't know, just like his power over time, like in the beginning, his power seemed very cool, very useful. But as the seasons went on, he's become kind of redundant. Like, she needs him for the most minimal things. For example, obviously in Optigami, I'm probably going to reference Optigami a lot, but in Optigami, she needed him to break the Turtle Miraculous to get Optigami out. Forgot the little name of the creature was Optigami. She needed him to get that creature out, but it's like, obviously, yeah, he was heavily needed for that, but this is like, what else was he needed for that episode? Because if you've noticed in season 4, he's barely been needed at all whatsoever. And obviously, like I said earlier, he's beginning to take notice of that. But I'm going to put him... So, if this was season 1 Adrian and I was just now getting into Miraculous Ladybug, I would more than likely put his power into very good. But where we are now, it is kind of lame. And I'm so sorry for the Cat Noir stands out there, but that's just the case there. Like, it is his power is kind of lame from where we are now and given his usefulness this season. But moving on. Now, Hawkmoth. His power is very good, and before anyone crucifies me by saying, oh, he hasn't really done much, it's taken him this long to get the Miraculous, his power isn't that good. His power is actually amazing. His executions are shitty, though. And that's something a lot of us can agree on. His executions to getting the Miraculous, creating certain villains are terrible. He, like, you akumatized a baby. Like, I don't know, but that's like, baby, that's rock bottom. That's rock bottom right there. You needed a baby, to akumatize a baby to try and get the Miraculous. Like, what did you think that was going to accomplish? Nothing. But I want to say his powers are the best because he's had his instances where he's popped off. Like, when Marinette was accusing Gabriel Agreste of being Hawkmoth, obviously we all knew, when she was accusing him of being Hawkmoth, what did he do to get that off his back? He ended up akumatizing himself and, making it seem like, oh, he can't be Hawkmoth. He's been akumatized. Then the whole Scarlet Moth plan. That plan, it wasn't flawless, but that was his best work. And that actually showed the fandom how powerful he truly is. And even Master Fu said, Hawkmoth is starting to take notice how powerful he actually is. Because that shit that went down for Heroes Day, that was amazing. And the fact that he was going to do it again, but obviously failed because, Natalie was using the Peacock Miraculous left and right. So when they tried to do it a second time, it kind of, didn't work because she passed out. But I'm sorry, like, if he was to try and do the Scarlet Moth thing again, I'm not going to say he would succeed, because obviously he overwhelmed them with all of those villains he did around the city. Because, like, it's plans like that show me he has the capabilities of being a good villain and using his powers correctly, but there are times where his executions are just shitty. Like, Wishmaker, I guess you could say that was a good plan, getting them to reveal their identities. Obviously, it worked, but, Viperion, Second Chance, he forgot. But that was a good plan. I'm trying to think of off the top of my head, I can't really think of another good plan that he had, but I do want to put Hawkmoth in very good. I feel like I'm not talking about their personalities as much, and if I'm not, I truly apologize for that. I hate that I'm not doing that. Now, King Monkey. When he was first introduced, I did not understand his power whatsoever. Until, like, it was explained to me, and, like, I have a good grasp on his power and what it does. However, I'm still kind of, like, when I think, it hurts me to think about. Like, it hurts my brain to think about his power. Because when it's explained to me, I understand it. However, like, when I actually have to think about what his power does on my own without it being explained to me, I get confused. But again, correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm not mistaken, his power is he has the ability to mess up other people's powers. And I think that's the gist of his powers, which I think is good, as we saw in let's say Queen Banana and in the disco episode. I forget the name of that villain, but like Queen Banana. I meant Miracle Queen. Oh my god, I forgot her villain name in that episode. Miracle Queen. As we saw in Miracle Queen, when in one of the instances before Viperion second chanced it, or before before Adrian second chanced it, because he had fused Miraculous at that point, that we saw how obviously his powers affected Marinette, and he got rid of the Dragon Miraculous that was on her, and obviously, they lost, and, yada yada, things like that. But, which I think would have been kind of a moment to have a little bit of a reveal, and then he second chanced, because you would think he would do that considering his personality, but he didn't, and I'm proud of him for that. But, it was just shocking. But yeah, in that instance, it shows how useful it is, but I'm just going to put it under not that good, but not that bad. I am honestly fully ready to hear opinions on that specifically, of where I placed him, because I feel like I'm putting him there because I don't have a full grasp of his powers. Now, as for Ladybug, I want to say I'm going to put her powers under the best. And the reasons why I have her under the best, she'd probably be lower before season 4. But because of season 4, you notice that Ladybug can kind of do whatever the hell she wants. Like, when she was trying to figure out a way to obviously have something to stop Hawkmoth from being able to akumatize people, she obviously didn't think there was something in the book until Alia said, hey, yo, you're Ladybug. If you think it, you can make it. You are only held back by your own abilities. So, like, could you imagine how more powerful she's going to become down the line, given the fact of her knowing, oh, I can kind of basically create anything I want. Like, if she needs a weapon, a magical item, anything of that nature to go against Hawkmoth, she can create that. Like, she can make anything she wants, which is why I am putting her in the best. And that's literally all there is to say about her. I'm going to definitely put Lady Noir exactly where Cat Noir is, because obviously it's the same thing. I mean, even though, like, I like Lady Noir's fit better than anything. And we're gonna put Mr. Bug the same place, even though I don't think Adrian would have a firmer grasp on Ladybug's powers as much as obviously Marinette does. Oh, well, Marinette doesn't really have a firm grasp on everything, but you know, she knows a good chunk. But majority of the reasons why Adrian doesn't know much is because she doesn't tell him anything. Excuse me. Now, as for Mayura. Now, in terms of powers, I'm like, if there was another category right here, I would literally put her ahead of Hawkmoth, because as we see in the show, it's kind of more difficult for Ladybug and Cat Noir to deal with an amok creature than it is to deal with an akumatized person. Because obviously Mayura's monsters are way more lethal and dangerous than any supervillain. Well, not really than any supervillain, than most supervillains that Hawkmoth makes. And that's just my opinion on the matter, because I see them struggling a lot more, especially now when there's when Shadow Moth can obviously create both, and he creates a muck thing. Sorry. He creates a Senta monster. I don't know why I just called them muck monsters. I'm so out of it. I'm sorry. When he create a Senta monster and a akumatized person at the same time, they struggle more with trying to deal with the Senta monster than they do with the akumatized villain. Just look at Queen Banana. That gorilla was causing detrimental damage to Paris, and they were struggling trying to fight that, and they had to deal with that way before they had to deal with Chloe. So that's why I say she's on the same level. I don't really know how she would go about, like, let's say we got a Scarlet Mayura, right? Like, I don't know how that would work, how to go about, but could you imagine if they were actually to do some shit like that, and there was actually a Scarlet Mayura, and she created hella Senta monsters around the city? That would be havoc. That would be so bad for them to deal with. But yeah, so like, I would basically put her above Hawkmoth. Now, Multi-Mouse. Now, in the hands, don't get me wrong, I love Mylene. I love Mylene. I love how they did her in that episode. I love that she obviously overcame some fears in that episode. But the way Marinette handled being Multi-Mouse, along with holding all of those Miraculous, I think that is an amazing feat. So I would put her under good, because without the Miraculous, it would just be the same thing as Polymouse. Like, it would just be the same thing. But I'm putting her under good right there due to the fact of maybe even very good. No, because she's not better than Bunnix. She's not. The power isn't better than Bunnix. But yeah, you know, things like that, things in that nature. That's why I put her there, because without all the Miraculous under her belt in that episode, she would have struggled a lot more, obviously. Now, Pegasus. I would put Pegasus, honestly, under maybe I would put him under. We're gonna put him under very good. I'm putting him under very good because of his power of teleportation, and it's proven to be very useful, especially in this season, given how many times they've had to use Kelki. Like, Kelki had to be used to get to Cat Noir and Plague to let them know that Ladybug was in danger. Kelki had to be used in order to, the power of Kelki had to be used in order to fix the situation that happened in Optigami. The same thing in Senta Bubbler. They needed to be saved, and they had to use Kelki's power to do it. Still think she could have grabbed a Miraculous and the coffee cup, but I digress. But yeah, you know, things like that, I think that's how his power is useful. They could use him for a lot, to get out of a lot of different situations, and I don't know if he can use it more than once, because I understand why Viperion can use his power more than once, because obviously he could just go, it's just him going back and forth in time. But I do feel as if I'm not mistaken, Nino can also use shelter more than once. I think. Yeah, I think he can use shelter more than once. But yeah, that's why we're putting him there. Ah, Pigella. Now, her power is the worst. And thinking about it, I'm going to put Aspic in very bad. We're going to switch him up. But her power is the worst. I cannot see her power being properly used unless her opponent is immobilized. Like, when I first saw the episode, in my head, I was like, well, hey, why don't they just use that more often to calm down the person that they're trying to deakumatize? And then in my head, I'm like, no one's going to sit still for that. Especially because there have been so many enemies that they couldn't really immobilize, and all they really did was just either break the akumatized item while it was on their person while they were attacking, or they just snatched it up and broke it that way. Netflix is rude. I don't know if you guys heard that, but Netflix is rude. But yeah, that is just the only, like, I just cannot see her really doing well about it. And then her weapon is isn't it? I think it's like a tambourine. I think it's a tambourine, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's a tambourine. I could be wrong. Gonna check that. Gonna fact check myself on that later. But yeah, she's going in the worst. Now, Polymouse, I'm gonna also put her under good because it's the same thing. Because without, obviously, Marinette, without all the Miraculous under her belt in that episode, she would have struggled a lot more. So like, I think they were the same in that aspect. Do I think Marinette probably could have used her power better than Milan? Yes, because she has a knowledge of what every Miraculous can do and whatnot. But yeah, other than that, yeah. Now, as for Purple Tigress, she probably would have been very good up there with like Mayura, Hawkmoth and stuff, until like the producer actually, one of the creators actually went over what her power is, and they said it's just a strong punch. And I do think that's kind of disappointing, given like what the fandom was speculating what her power actually was. I feel like they should have just went with that, especially because Roar said, let's confuse people. I thought his power had to do something with the confusion. I guess not. I just wish it was, I just wish it was better. But knowing that it's just a strong punch, it kind of brings the hype down for her. And I hate that because I really did enjoy it. I really do enjoy her character. Like, her fit is phenomenal. I do like that she uses her tail as a weapon. But the fact that, she doesn't do much. It's just a punch. It's sad. So we're gonna put her in not that bad, not that good, because it's not bad that it's a punch, but I do wish that there was more to it, because everyone else's power obviously has some special thing to it, and hers is just a punch. It's just sad. Now we're gonna go ahead and do Queen Bee and Vesperia together. Now, Queen Bee, her powers, obviously Chloe. I don't like Chloe. We know I don't. But I'm not judging based on Chloe. I'm judging based on Queen Bee. Now, when she was Queen Bee before she went batshit crazy, she did do good things. I obviously don't like that she used her powers to create problems and then fix them later. Don't like that, obviously. But her power would kind of be, it would be good. So I'm just going to put her and Vesperia in good. Because honestly, could you imagine if they actually catch Hawkmoth off guard one day? He decides to just go out in public and do one of his things where, he's stalking Ladybug or whatever. But could you imagine if they caught him slipping one day and they used Venom on him and they caught him like that? Like, that would be amazing. And as you saw in Heroes Day, when they were cornering him, even though it was just an illusion, like, Chloe had that Venom on the ready. So I do think one of these days they'll possibly catch him with Venom. Maybe not. But Venom has been proven to be very useful in so many different situations. Now, as for... Excuse me. Now, next up is Rena Rouge, or, as she wants to be known now, is Rena Furtive, or Furtive? One of the two. Please correct me. I'm going to put her in very good because of the sole fact that she, in her hands, the Fox Miraculous is used very well. Especially her skills were shown in Sentibubbler when she made multiple illusions back to back, had a very intricate plan, tricked Hawkmoth into thinking that she's never going to get a Miraculous again, and now she's obviously incognito. Did what she did, well, not really did what she did in Rocketeer, because, you know, she just did her thing in Rocketeer, did what she had to do or whatever. But, you know, things like that I did enjoy. But yeah, in her hands, the Fox Miraculous is used very well. Her power, like, in general, her power is amazing. Like, the power of illusion, and the only off thing is it doesn't really, the Fox Miraculous can't be touched. Like, if that is the only, like, downside to her Miraculous, baby, she's gonna be alright. Because I haven't seen one of her illusions touched once, honestly. And I could be wrong, but if I am, yeah, correct me on that, please. Next up, we have Ryuko. Now, Ryuko, she has the power over wind, water, and electricity. I keep forgetting what that third one is, but I know the main ones we've seen were wind and water, and those two specifically, just like that in general, I don't think we've seen the full power of what the Dragon Miraculous can actually do, because I feel like the Dragon Miraculous can do a lot more than what we've seen, because obviously when in Miracle Queen, when Ladybug mixed the two Miraculous, she created a whole water dome. Like, that Miraculous can do a lot more than what we've seen, and I really do hope we get to see more from it and see exactly, like, the full extent of what that Miraculous can do, because I still do not know if she can use more than one element at a time, or not really more than one, just like use them back to back, because we've only seen her use, because we saw her when she first got it, she used Wind Dragon, and then she detransformed, came back, and I think she used the Water Dragon, and I don't know if she can use it, you know, more than once in one transformation, use just one at a time during each transformation. Like, she can only use water, wind, and whatever the third one is once during each transformation. I don't know. I feel like we have not seen the full extent of her power, so I'm definitely going to put her in very good. Next up is Viperion, and I'm going to put him in the best, especially given how problematic his power can be against them, which it was shown when he was taken over in Miracle Queen. They definitely showed how much of a problem that Miraculous would and could be if it was in the wrong hands. Because obviously every single time that they struggled to take the Miraculous away from Ladybug and Cat Noir, Viperion snapped back, and they kept snapping back. And obviously it shows to be problematic, again, in the wrong hands, but more so in the irresponsible hands when Adrian had it. Where instead of, when noticing that he just couldn't do it anymore, instead of realizing earlier on, he kept trying, he kept going back in time, not only tiring himself out and defeating his confidence, but also tiring out Sass, which is very sad. But obviously that Miraculous in the wrong hands is very dangerous. And that's everyone. If I would put Master Fu anywhere, it would probably be in good, because it's still Shelter. And obviously the girl, I forget her name and I forget her hero name. Her power, I don't really understand it much, so that's why I'm not really gonna put her anywhere. Like, it's a even more confusing understanding of her powers than it is with Monkey King. I just know, like, what is it, like, she releases the restraints of people. It's still very confusing to me. Feel free to explain that to me if you would like to. But yeah, this is my list. Obviously up front, for the best, we have Ladybug, Mr. Bug, Viperion. For very good, we have Mayura, Hawkmoth, Pegasus, Rena Rouge, and Ryuko. For good, we have Bunnix, Multimouse, Polymouse, Queen Bee, and Vesperia. Not that good, but not that bad. Basically, people whose powers are kind of, other than Nino and Master Fu, but these two were put here because their powers, well, she was put here because it's just a super punch, so it's not that interesting, sadly. And he was just here because we don't really understand his powers. But, you know, we have Carapace, Monkey King, Purple Tigress, and I don't remember what Master Fu's hero name is, but, you know, Master Fu. And kind of lame, given the fact that season 4, we have Cat Noir and Lady Noir. And under very bad, we have Aspect, given how irresponsible he is with the Miraculous. Even though the power is great, in his hands specifically, it is not the move. And for worst, we have her, because her powers are kind of situational when you think about it, because no one's going to sit down and just let you, you know, de-akumatize them, given you know, their powers and stuff. They're evil, mad, things like that. They're not just gonna sit there and take that. And obviously we said we were not doing any of the fusions. We were just solely focusing on the Soul Miraculous holders. But yeah, this is my list. And okay guys, I hope you really enjoyed that tier list that we made together just now. And obviously, if you have any opinions on my list, if you want to share your personal thoughts and where you would place people, or if you just want to possibly, you know, explain Monkey King's powers to me, I'm not going to stop you there. All that you can do in the comment section below. Again, I see all the comments and I obviously respond to all of them. Even if I don't respond to them the same day, I will respond to them at when I have time, which is usually all the time because I'm usually just home all day. But I will see you guys in the next video. We are going to start watching Star versus the Forces of Evil. We are going to be starting from season 3 or 4, whenever they defeated the lizard guy, because I already seen stuff from way back when, and I remember everything that happened before then. I forget which season I'm actually going to be starting at, but whatever season when they defeated the first main villain, I forget his name. It's eluding me. Sorry, it's been a long day. But yeah, I will definitely see you guys in that next video, and that next video will probably be posted sometime next week. I'll probably have another little miscellaneous video posted this week, but so far this is the only video I had planned posted for the week. But until the next video, I will see you guys then.